You've probably heard that the 1% do things a little bit differently. Well, I know I definitely have. So today we're going to be diving into exactly what that really means and what that really looks like. Again, welcome back to Seriously, the Claudia Project, your daily morning show starring me, Claudia, where we talk about everything from motivation, lifestyle, and how to show up for yourself every single day. So let's hop into what the 1% is doing in 2025 and how that kind of pertains to you and how we can all be better people. One, let me start by saying I am just trying to show up every day being the best version of myself. So I'm not saying that we need to be comparing, but I have been watching a ton of podcasts over the span of the last 2 or 3 weeks to find motivation, which they probably would not be doing, but just trying to understand a little bit better. I guess just trying to find a way to not feel like everything I'm doing is a waste of my time. And especially in a world where so many things you do in silence without really having anything that you're getting in return right off the bat. And so it's been super helpful to me, some of these things. And so sharing them with you, I think will be super helpful. So let's all just take a step back. And these are just things to help you out, things that they're doing that I think are super helpful and have changed my mindset a little bit over the last couple of weeks. Number one, ruthless consistency. Now, I think that it's hard to say ruthless. I don't know if I want to lean into that, but what the 1% is doing that I know I haven't been doing is same wake up time, same workout, having a planning system and actually sticking to it, making decisions about how they're going to spend their time, and then actually showing up every single day for the things they say they want to show up for. A lot of us, I think, are just putting entirely too much on our plates. And so when you can't do all of it, it becomes let's just not do any of it, which should not be the case. So figuring out a consistent schedule to start and then sticking with it over and over again, no matter if you see results, if you don't, the longevity of it is where you're going to see the most change. And so showing up every day. So number one, ruthless consistency. They're doing that no matter what, whether people are applauding them or not. Number two, long-term thinking. So instead of thinking about how this decision is going to impact me today, they're thinking about how is this going to impact me 3 to 5 years from now? Because most things, it's like Lego blocks, right? You have one Lego doesn't do anything, but once you put all of the Legos together, you see a beautiful dinosaur. Or London, we have some of the Legos where they're shaped like cities. And so thinking about how that consistency we just talked about over the span of the long term really affects your goals, and not expecting anything to happen overnight is a huge one that I've been thinking about, because it kind of sets you up for why this makes sense long term. Just because I go to the gym today and I don't see results tomorrow doesn't mean that I shouldn't go to the gym tomorrow. It just means 3 years from now, all of those workouts combined, I'm going to be more fit, I'm going to be thinner, more buff, whatever your goals are in the gym. We're just using the gym as an example, right? But showing up time after time, knowing that down the road is what you're working towards, right? So those two, I think, are easily, if you just wanted to focus on those two, I think it would be helpful, but we're going to go through some other things that they do as well. Focusing on energy, not time. So how much energy are you going to exert into your morning routine? How much hydration you're going to use? How much clean eating you're doing? So the energy inside of your body is what's going to help you with those tasks. So going to sleep on time, making sure you're setting that alarm, eating positive foods that don't weigh you down. I know that when I eat trashy foods for a while, it just makes me feel lethargic. When I'm not drinking enough water, I'm feeling slowed down. My mind's not as fast and as active. Even over the span of the last week and a half, I've stopped drinking just to see if it makes me feel any different, any better. And I'm one who's willing to party, but I have noticed that it delays me the next day, and so it takes me even longer to ramp back up, especially for all of the goals that I want to accomplish. We just talked about consistency and your long-term thinking, and as soon as you start adding those additional things in, it starts messing with the energy that you have in order to be able to continue to produce, which there's a time and a place, right? So maybe right now you're like, okay, I can party a little bit, I can take a break, I've timed it out in my schedule, I've mapped it out. And so figuring out how to make sure that the energy that you're putting out is at its peak is really about thinking about those small things. How much water have I had? Setting boundaries with other people and your time, because the energy and time is all you have, really. So making sure that you're thinking about those things, super important. Learning over entertainment. So this is the one that I'm still working on. I've moved away a little bit from just watching TV outside of Moana, which we watch all the time, every single day. If you are new around here, Ashton's movie of choice before was Cars 1, 2, and 3. And then we moved to Lion King, and now we're on a Moana kick. So we watch Moana 1, and then the next day we'll watch Moana 2. Whatever. He just plays in the background. He plays around. Totally beside the point. But I've moved away from watching TV just because I mean, sometimes I'll get into it, right? But overall, it's like not something I really want to spend my time doing. So trying to recalibrate myself to reading, which has been super helpful and gotten me off of my phone, which is the goal. But I have to actively think about it, because I can very easily end up down the TikTok rabbit hole or Instagram and seeing like what's going on there, instead of using them like the catalyst that I want them to be, which is really just to grow a community, to get to know you guys better. But fixing my, like, even the things that I'm reading, moving from only being romance to moving into something more educational. I've thought about starting to read the Wall Street Journal, just because I've heard it's really good and active for your brain, just to continue to learn. And so figuring out how you can switch from only entertainment things to things where you're actively learning, that can be in audiobooks, that it can be in podcasts. And so like just switching that so that you're always learning, that's the biggest thing that I've taken away from listening to these podcasts about the 1% and something that's a little different. And that is that they're always learning something new, and not just in like a school sense, but just like what's going on in your city, what's going on in the world, and staying up on not just current events, but the stock market, and understanding the business and what companies are buying what companies and why that might be important for the type of business that you're in. So learning new things. And it can also be like learning fun things, like learning a new recipe to cook so you can change up your day to day just to keep life more interesting. And you can do that in more ways than just being on social media. So thinking about that is also super helpful. So learning and entertainment, learning over entertainment, I should say. And then last, networking with intention. So this is something that I am still working on. All of these things are. But like, network your proximity. There are people that you know that are in your circle that you could reach out to right now, who would be able to mentor you, invite you to like industry events or like events in your city that you can go to that are likely free, that will really help you level up. And again, this entire episode is about taking where you are and kind of getting to the next level. And so thinking about how to successfully network is going to be something that's very important, and what the 1% takes very seriously. I watched something today from Mark Cuban that was like, not all questions, like, you know, they're the saying about like no questions are dumb questions. And he said like some questions are dumb questions. So like when you get into a networking opportunity, making sure that you know everything you can know about the event and what's happening there. That way when you meet someone, you can ask really strong questions and like read up about some of the people that are going to be at the event. So if you happen to come across them, you have more to say than just, I'd like to pick your brain about X, Y, and Z, because that's happening to them all day long. So you want to stand out. And so that's just like another tip about networking. But I do think the 1% do a really good job of building the brand around them and making sure they have not just peers, but also people to look up to, and mentors, even if they don't know that they're your mentors. Just small steps in that direction that I think are super helpful. And that's, networking is something that I'm trying to do a better job of. I went to lunch with a CFO today, a woman who's in finance, and it's always really great to get her perspective. And so continuing to build out those type of relationships with more women in the space to make sure that like I'm setting myself up for success long term as well. Super duper helpful. Reminder, this is like, the 1% are doing things that like 99% of other people are not doing. And so if this is something that interests you, just know, one, it is going to be hard, But another thing that I've learned recently is all things are hard. And so you just have to pick the type of hard you want. You either want the hard that is going to turn into something that your family will be able to live off of and continue to get better, or it's going to be a hard where like you aren't forcing yourself to do anything, but you're also like stuck in the same job and not getting promotions and not continuing to grow. Both of those things are hard. So you have to just choose which hard you really want to deal with. Moving on to our Seriously segment in 90 seconds. So your glow up in 90 seconds, what are we going to do? If you can do it in 2 minutes, you should knock it out right now. You shouldn't put it off. You shouldn't wait. There are so many things that I have like put off over and over again and thought like, oh, I cannot handle this right now. And when I finally go to do it, it takes less than 2 minutes. And I'm so frustrated thinking about like how much time I'll never get back that I could have just knocked these things out. So like, I know for sure you have a list of things, we all do, of things we're just putting off that we could just go ahead and knock out. Take 20 minutes tonight and try to knock off a few of them, right? Do the thing you've been putting off. I always say like wash those dishes. It never takes as long as you think it does. It's just something you've decided that you don't have time for. You always have time for it. So that's your 90-second glow up. Seriously, knock it out. Atlanta in real life. Who are we going to talk about today? Marcel's. It's in West Midtown, so on Howell Mill. It is in the complex right across from Shake Shack. It is up the stairs when you get to this complex in West Provisions. And so Marcel's is a steakhouse, French-based. The steaks are delicious. The service is super fun. I think that this is one that you can either do like on a casual night with like you and one person, or even you by yourself, and you can sit at the bar. Very chill. They have wonderful cocktails and mocktails. The steaks are delicious. I think the steak frites, fire. Especially on like a casual like Wednesday night if you're looking for something easy. And then they also, it's like a great place for like date night. You can dress it up. It's very dark in there, so you have to like, they used to have to use your phone when you went to like read the menu, but now they've like finally they've lit it up a little bit so you can read the menus. They make their Caesar dressing and salads fresh on the side, so the dressing is like chef's kiss. I will say they are all about potatoes on the sides. The potatoes with the cheese is too much. It's so much Parmesan. It's like 90% Parmesan, 10% cheese, 10% potatoes. Not really my jam. The regular mashed potatoes, 10 out of 10. The corn souffle, honey, 10 out of 10. Okay? It's 10 out of 10. I cannot suggest it enough. Marcel's, if you're gonna go and like not sit at the bar, I would suggest making a reservation. It just makes everything much easier. There is like a dress code, but they're pretty calm if you go and sit at the bar, like I said already. So like a very easy spot after work, late night. If you're looking for something at like 9, they close pretty late, so you can go in there at like 9:30. However, if you're being the 1%, you should have eaten way earlier than that. So we're gonna say you're gonna go to dinner at 7. That way you can be home and in bed by like 9:30, because we're getting up at 5, because you have a consistency list to keep track of. I'm just holding you accountable. I'm only here to hold you accountable to the goals that you say that you want. This is about you, not about me, huns. It just really is not. Community shout out. The community moment goes to all of the people driving to work and not honking as soon as the light turns green. We get it, Barbara. You have places to be. I'm not even on my phone and you're just honking at me. Just chill out, sis. That's all I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to relax. So shout out to all the people during the morning commute that are chill, who are just like letting people, move around the city the way that they know that they can. Shout out to you. You are literally a blessing, and you deserve everything that you get, because positivity is coming your way for that. Anyway, this is another episode of Seriously, the Claudia Project. Again, it's your morning motivation show. So I'm glad that you could be here today. Thank you so much if you made it to the very end of the episode. My name is Claudia. Seriously, we will see you again tomorrow. Bye, guys.